Hello there everyone, welcome back to Locke's Quest. Today we'll be heading on to the next section of the game. So after the events of part 1 and 2, we are now away from our village. Sadly, the Clockworks have taken over and captured the source well there. Emmy also disappeared, which is sad because she wasn't really a character. Sorry if I seem unsympathetic to a little girl gone missing, but she really didn't do anything so far. She's just a little brat. We'll get more story about Emmy actually later. Most of the characters actually get some sort of story or plot added to them, except for Isaiah and Heather, who we'll meet later as well. Probably about part 4. So these are the Imperial Guards. Look at me mixing. These aren't even. No, they're not. It's Kingdom Force. Thank you very much. Kingdom Force are they're the knights of the Knights of the Round Table. Didn't know King Arthur was in this. They are like the knights of the entire country of Antonia and all of its subsidiary areas. So they fight off the Clockworks using their shields, their bows, their arrows, their swords, their spears, their everything. They all usually have a Texan type accent, or a Southern type accent. The way that they speak is very colloquial to Southerners, I'd have to say. As a person who has many Southerner family members, I have to say that, yeah, I could probably see that coming a mile away. And now Tobias is now. That was disgusting, and I apologize for that. Tobias is leaving us and going off to find Emmy on his own, because the quest for Emmy is on his part. We'll learn about how his search for Emmy went later on. Specifically after a major plot twist, we'll understand why his search for Emmy didn't go exactly as planned. I can't really do voices for a lot of these characters because I don't really see a voice from them. I've always imagined these characters not being able to talk. Only the Clockworks I can really make a voice for, and even those voices aren't exactly something that I'd be proud to say that I was a voice actor for. But, oh well. So now we have to go talk to the veteran. The veteran is always going to be the Gold Knight, so obviously he spent a lot more time in Kingdom Force. And as the game goes on, we'll be fighting with Kingdom Force, but more cutscenes. Yeah, I skipped over basically the training in that day. It was just more tutorial. I'll explain what the new mechanic that they introduced myself. It was all just training, really. Nothing happened in the middle of it. So now Pain and his cronies have decided to attack us head on. As far as the Kingdom Force, we'll see them more often in the game. They'll be helping fight off the Clockworks with us, and we'll be getting different turrets, as you can see. No longer will we just have the regular Rotogun turret. Now we have the Splash Cannon. With the Splash Cannon, we are able to actually shoot off. Well, not we, but the turret will shoot off a, shall I say, giant ball of fire, a fireball basically. It will shoot a fireball at the ground, and it will hit multiple enemies for massive damage. But it costs a lot, so it will be one of your main turrets that you use, because there are a lot more high-costing turrets that come up later on in the game. As far as different turrets that I don't think you've seen yet, there's the Goo turret, which is that giant turret, which is that turret next to the Rotogun that has the little bronze on it. And that turret slows down enemies so that way they can't get up to your base as quickly. What I'm placing down now are traps. In this game, traps only work for a day, meaning one in-game day. So each time you go through a battle phase, the trap disappears and goes away. The traps are used in order to halt enemies, cause damage to them, or to hinder them in some format. We'll get different types of traps, but the trap that I'm laying down right now is actually called the Acid Trap. and the acid trap gives enemies a poison status. This poison status will constantly damage them as they continue to erode as they go through the battle. So using acid traps is a great way to get rid of enemies early on, or even weaken them before they get to your main turrets. And this is actually going to be our first boss fight of the game. So yeah, first boss already. Pain is more or less a tutorial boss, and there he is right there. All the bosses you can are advanced or red and advanced versions of the original Clockworks that they are representing. So as you can see, Pain is a advanced version of the basic Clockwork attacker unit. And with Pain comes the price of Pain to your turrets. Each boss can do massive damage to all of your walls and will constantly break them easily through just a few swipes of their hands. But a lot of them can be cheaped out and cheesed, like the way I'm doing Pain here. As you can see, Pain's losing a lot of damage because he's getting constantly hit by the acid trap, and then the rotogun turret hits him. And since he's slowed down, even his attacks are slowed down due to the goo turret, he's just constantly getting hurt over and over and over again. And that's one problem with Lock Splish, is that the turrets themselves and the boss fights are a bit lackluster in some formats. Sometimes the boss fights can get challenging, especially if you put the difficulty up to the hard mode and really go all over the place with your turrets and stuff and try to make the game a bit more challenging by saving source. But honestly, a lot of the bosses can be cheesed that way, and that's kind of saddening. Boss encounters work on two different methods. You can either let the day end, which means that you've held the boss off for as long as it takes until he disappears because he's run out of source to supply his energy needs, or you can actually kill the boss and end the day instantly. So no matter how much time you have left, the day ends as soon as the boss is dead. So it actually gives you a bit of an easier way. It's better to kill the boss than to actually just try to defend against them, because more than likely, even a line of walls and turrets won't stop them from killing your base. Locke and Isaiah have a nice little friendship going right here, but the sad thing is Isaiah becomes less of a major character later on, and kind of gets demoted to a side character status later on. It's somewhat disappointing because you don't get to actually fight with him too often. He kind of just comes in for one section of the game and helps out for a few minutes, but then he's gone, and then he comes in at the finale. Either way, we're heading on to the main city of Locke's quest, Antonia. So next time we'll be in Antonia with cutscenes of lore. See ya.